Hey guys, so today I want to talk to you about bringing your house plants inside for winter. So if you have plants that are outside in your garden right now that are what you would classify as house plants, it might be time to start thinking about bringing those in. Here in Zone 5, Ohio, Zone 5B, we have some 40-degree temperatures, nighttime temperatures coming up, and it's time for me to start thinking about bringing my plants in, and I want to show you guys how I do that. Alright, so let's just pull out the plants that are coming inside. So this fern here, this asparagus fern, I think that's what it is. It was inside, it comes inside for the last 2 years, but this year I think I'm going to get rid of it. I'm not really loving it right now, so that one's not coming in. This philodendron solemn is going to come in this year, and I can't, well, let me see, I could probably lift it. I think it's probably full of water from the rain the other day, so I'm gonna leave it right there. But this is one that's gonna come in. This ficus here, this rubber tree, is coming in, so I'm going to move this guy and set it aside. I'm gonna bring him right here. He actually is looking pretty good. His stems are gotten a little bit thicker, and that's probably from being outside, being with the wind, the rain, sun, all that. He's got a lot of bird poop on him, but he's gorgeous. The birds like to get into the branches up there, and then they just crap all over those plants. I have a mangave here, snow leopard, that's gonna have to come in, but I think these guys can handle a little bit of chill, so they can handle our temps when they get down to less than 46 degrees. Definitely not freezing temperatures, so I think they'll be okay outside when we have our 45, 44 degree day. Now let's go over here, see where some other plants are. Oh yes. So my lemon tree is gonna have to come in. It can definitely handle a cooler weather, but definitely not freezing temperatures. It's gonna have to get ready to come in, but it can stay out a little bit longer. And I don't know if you guys know this, but like baby lemon trees, and sometimes in the, you know, adult trees, they have spikes. And they don't all do this, but some of them do. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's what I believe I read, that they don't all produce spikes. Elephant ears. These guys definitely do not handle freeze. So beautiful. I have to stop and look at it because this is my biggest one. And I think the reason why it's so big is because this bed is just, I think this bed is just full of like good, nutritious, moist soil, and this plant just loves it. Loves it. Okay, so this begonia, this is Pegasus begonia, and it looks really bad right now, but this plant is also going to come in. All of my mangave are coming in, so I have this one here, Pineapple Express. This one, which is Purple People Eater. Hi, Cashew. What you want, girl? You don't know? I don't know either. Here is another mangave. This one is Bad Hair Day. She's got to come in. Another snow leopard. She's got to come in. And you know, if I can't get rid of these, because I want to give them away, they're just so wide and pokey, it's difficult to keep them over winter. This one's Mission to Mars. I'm going to try to see if I can get rid of some of these, give them away. This one's Red Wing, and those all will have to come in. They just take up so much space with the width of them, and then they're so pokey, they're difficult to manipulate around. So, and I have to be careful where I put them because of cats, dogs, and kids. So let's look around. I don't think there's a ton more out here. Here's another ficus I just got from the back garden. Look at the difference. These two are the same plant. This one got more sun than this one. Both are beautiful. Their newer foliage is big and looks amazing. Their stems look really strong. Nice, healthy, happy plants. One more sun stressed than the other. That's the only difference. So I had to stop filming and do something real quick. So I just grabbed all of the other house plants that I found in that back bed back there. I left two over there, 2 allocations, because I'm not quite sure what I want to do with them just yet. But these guys, definitely I am going to be bringing them in. This one is a more juvenile form of the allocation that I have back here. So this one's big, this one's much smaller. Right here we have a Alocasia Regal Shield, which I put outside this year. It's done really good. It's got some really big leaves on it. Actually, this is a portion of a plant that I originally had from a few years ago. It got spider mites. I put it in the compost bin, and then at the end of the season last year I found it growing in the compost bin. So I kept it in as a houseplant last year, and then early this spring it started having spider mites, so I threw it out in the garden. It's been doing pretty good since. This here is the ColorChoice teacups. Is it teacups? Coffee cups from Proven Winners. This one I'm actually going to break this bulb down like I do my other elephant ear bulbs and keep it over winter. I'm not going to do that just yet, but I brought it over here because it kind of got lost in the back of the bed, and it has kind of grown to an angle because of it just got so heavy at the top, and it's a little bit big for this pot. So I'm just gonna let it ride out the rest of the season and then break it down later. So over here I have my plumeria. I have 2. I grew both of these from seed. They're about 2 years old. Yeah, they're about 2 years old, and I chopped the tops of them this summer hoping that they would branch. The other one, so this one has started growing a little branch. Let me see if I can show that with you guys without breaking the baby branch off. So it's right there. That one started to branch. This one has not done anything yet, so those 2 will have to go in. I've got 2 pots of succulents that will need to get cleaned and go inside. You know what though, I'm kind of over those, so they might not come inside. And then my 2 ficus taninkis, they're going to be coming in. So those will have to get the leaves cleaned. Depending on if they need a soil or a new soil change or a new pot change, that will be determined in the next few days. And then here is my crinum lily. Now this dude needs a new pot. He's big, he's got roots growing out of the bottom. He definitely is going to need to get cleaned, new soil, new everything. So I've got to buy a new pot for him, a new pot for this alocasia here, and then the philodendron solemn is going to stay in this pot. I'm out of my neem oil spray, so I won't be able to spray them just yet, but what I will start doing is buying the pots, washing off the leaves with just the hose water, and then assessing each plant for what it may need. So I've got my ficus triangularis down here, which is doing beautifully. Such a beautiful plant. It's done so good outside this summer. I moved it out because it was acting finicky in the house, and it is doing beautifully. It had lost all of its foliage, and now it's fully foliaged, and I am terrified to bring it back in because I know that once I bring it inside, it's going to drop a ton of leaves, and that is just typical of ficus. It's something that they just do. They hate the inside, and though some people can keep them super nice, other people just can't, and I'm just gonna string it along for as long as it will go because this is such a beautiful ficus. So here is the lot, you guys. This is what I'm gonna be working with. The way I start this out, if any of these are going to stay in the same pot and I'm not going to change the soil, this is what I start with. I start with systemic granules, and this will kill a bunch of bugs that are living in the soil or living on the foliage. This is absorbed through the roots, and it lives within the foliage. So any bugs that are on the list for this eat the foliage, it will kill them. So that's where I start with anything that's staying in the same pot. So any plant that needs new pot, I will get the new pot, change out the soil, clean off the roots. I don't often break things all the way down to just bare root. I usually leave a little bit of soil, and then once that plant is repotted, it gets the systemic granules. We got the foliage rinsed down, wiped down, and then we use the neem oil spray, and then we let those plants just kind of sit for a bit. I'll probably keep them in the screened-in porch for a day or two depending on the weather, and then after that I'll bring them inside to an area, to my living room where I am quarantining other things. And then let me see, what else do I do? I mean, it's pretty simple. You just want to make sure you give yourself time to complete all these tasks and to make sure that you are taking your time, you know, making sure your plants look pretty clean before you bring them in. So it's been 2 days since that last shot, and I want to show you guys what I got from the store for the crinum lily and the alocasia. I picked up this from Lowe's. It is a fungicide, a miticide, and an insecticide. So this is what I'm going to use to spray down the foliage with. And then I'm going to use the systemic for anything that's in the soil or anything that this cannot cover. This is a harsh treatment for, you know, plants in general, but because they're coming in from outside, I want to make sure that I'm getting everything I possibly can that could infect the houseplants that I have inside. I don't want to bring in any extra issues. So let me show you these pots. I found these big black pots from Lowe's, and I think they're gonna work fine. Let me see how many inches they are. Let me see. So I have two 16-inch planters that I think will work great for the crinum lily and the alocasia. The other plants, I think I have pots should I need to replace, should I feel like I need to replace the soil. But I mean, you can always replant back into the same pot. I would just do a little root pruning, which I'm gonna have to do for the alocasia for sure. I'll definitely have to root prune that so that it can fit into this. Granules. Let's see. He looks like he might be. Ugh. He's really hot. This one. You see this guy? He's got some trees. And baby trees. Maybe in the pot. Now move out of the way and over this. And all this yellow. I can do this. Anyway, just do it. Way too rough. It's very too rough. Root ball. So this philodendron solemn is a little bit bigger than I thought it was. With it all the way back there, it didn't feel as big as it does pulling it out onto the patio. This girl is big. She's gonna need a ginormous spot in the house that I don't even have prepared at the moment. So wow, she's big and gorgeous, and I can't believe I almost got rid of her this year because, you know, I was having bug issues with her. But I'm gonna go ahead and treat her like I do the other ones. She's gonna get the systemic, then we're gonna water it in, and then we're gonna hose off the leaves. And then once the foliage is dry, then I'm gonna spray the neem oil all over. And yeah, and then they'll come inside probably in the next day or so to a quarantined area. And then once their quarantine is up, then I'll start moving them to their spots in the house. Wow, I'm shook at how big this plant is. It is, yeah. I think she definitely should go into the living room because I can close the doors off in that room, which will help keep the cats out of the pot. And I also need to add more pine cones because I think some of her pine cones are missing. And adding pine cones, if you add a nice thick layer of pine cones to your pots, the pots that are really wide open, that helps keep out cats, because cats like to get into big pots, dig in the soil, use the bathroom in there sometimes, or even just sleep in there. So this is one way just to protect your plant, is putting pine cones in. Some people use gravel, some people use foil balls. All those things can help depending on your cat's personality. So yeah, wow, look at this girl. Let's just get a different view. She's a big girl. This pot is like, this is a big pot, so it should be definitely get a bunch. I'm waiting for the leaves to dry before I add the neem spray. But what I wanted to make sure that you guys knew is that before you use any sort of you know, pesticide, miticide, fungicide, anything like that, make sure that you follow the directions on the bottle for proper measurements. I know I freehand it now, but when I first started doing it, I was using a measuring cup to measure out the proper mixture. I've been using it for several years now, so I kind of trust my eye with the measurements of what is needed per pot size. So make sure you guys, if you're new to it, make sure that you are following those directions, for the neem spray, because there is it's not a one-time spray and done. It's usually like you spray 1 week and then the next week you spray again. Just read the packaging, make sure you guys are following those directions so that you are being safe. And I did do some a little bit of root pruning on the crinum lily. You can root prune. I wouldn't root prune more than 1/3 of the roots of any plant. You want to leave them something so that they can reestablish themselves easier. The philodendron, I'm not transplanting that. I probably won't transplant that to anything bigger than what it's in now. At some point, once this plant gets, you know, too much for me to handle, I'll probably sell it or give it away to someone. And with the elephant ear, the alocasia, the smaller one, I did prune off a lot of the foliage, and that's because I could see spider mites on those leaves. So I wanted to prune off as much foliage that had damage or had spider mites on it. And then once the leaves are dry of all these plants, I'll go back and spray with the neem, and I'll show you guys that. And then you want to make sure that once you spray with the neem, you allow it to fully dry. So I'll be doing that too, and then bringing those, once they're dry, I'll bring them into the screen and porch. Our temperatures this week and next week are starting to drop. So once your temps dip below 46, that's a little bit too chilly for tropical plants. Your plants in your planters might do okay, like your annuals might do okay, but as far as like house plant type plants, those tropicals, you kind of want to start protecting them at that point. If you're leaving them outside, your perennials should be fine. I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, so in the next coming weeks, I'm going to start breaking all of my pots down and just kind of minimizing what I have out here in the garden as it gets closer to November. By November, everything should be like, except for, you know, any perennials that haven't been hit by a hard frost, most things should be tucked away. I'm still going to keep my raised garden beds going. I do have plastic to cover those, so those are going to keep going. But as far as, you know, the annuals, the elephant ears, I'll start breaking those down. I'll have videos of that for you guys who want to see how I do that. And yeah, also if you are planning on taking cuttings of anything, so like your coleus, your geraniums, any cuttings of herbs that you want to keep going inside for the winter, you'll want to start taking those cuttings and rooting them now before it gets too cold out. Just depending on your zone. I'm zone 5B, so now's the time for me to start doing those things. So just think about your zone and then think about that first frost date and that timeline. So the leaves have dried. Now it's time to go ahead and start spraying. Let me get my spray, which is right here. Turn it on to this one. So for this plant has a lot of leaves, I'm just gonna spray as best as I can, like this. But you really want to get on the tops and on the undersides of foliage just to make sure you're you know, drenching every part of the leaves of this plant. And you want to spray it until it's drippy. Here goes the elephant ear, the alocasia. Turning. And then the regal shield. Spraying that, spraying the stems too, if you can. And the underside. So I didn't do anything to the coffee cups elephant ear, and that's because I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do with it. If I leave it in, I might leave it in the pot or go ahead and dig it up. It's already made some little babies here. We've got a couple that have branched off, and I kind of want to let those keep going, see what happens, and then I'm really considering keeping it in this pot. I think that's probably what I'll do. Let it dry up and then go ahead and cut it all the way back and then bring it in the house. My plumeria is getting sprayed down. The other plumeria. And then this Ficus triangularis. This one always has spider mites off and on throughout the year. So this is not new to this plant, getting sprayed down. And usually a plant that continuously has spider mites, I don't tend to keep it, but because this one is so beautiful, I cannot part with it. So we will fight the mite fight together until she gives up the ghost. Alrighty. Ensure all that foliage gets covered. Then this plant here. And I did not wipe the poop off of this, and I really should have, but I'll wipe it later on. Let that drip. Now we've got this big girl right here, and I'm gonna need 2 hands for her. So let me go get the tripod. So that is it. I hope this video is clear. I can be a little chaotic when filming and talking, and I'm trying to get a bunch of stuff out. So let me know if you guys have any questions about anything that you've seen in this video. Just to go back, I transplanted what needed to be transplanted. I added the systemic to the soil and worked it in with my hands. If you're using systemic or any type of spray application, make sure you read the directions just so you can stay safe. After you add a systemic, you water in that, and then clean off the foliage, and then spray the leaves down with the neem mixture of your choice, and then allow that to dry. Bring those plants into a quarantined area. They're going to have to adjust to new lighting, new humidity levels, the lack of free-flowing air. Everything that they have outside, they're going to have to adjust to what it's like inside your home. So give them time. They may stress out, they may struggle. Just, you know, cut them some slack and see how it goes. Some things may not, some things might just die. So just give yourself grace, give the plant some time and then see how everything goes. If they don't make it, it is okay. You can get another plant. But anyways, again, I am going on and on and on. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.